Went from condos to Pop's house. On calls, now bus routes.
All right, so we have former NBA player Patrick Beverley, and he was just arrested for third-degree felony violence involving a family member. So basically, this specific charge is for assaulting a family or household member by impeding breath or circulation. This is serious. This isn't nothing small. This isn't nothing little. This is a very, very big deal, right? But before we get into it, let's look at a small news brief to get more details on what's going on.
Tonight we're learning more about the arrest of Patrick Beverley, the former Houston Rocket. Here's what we know so far. Fort Bend County officials confirmed that Beverley was arrested today on a felony charge of family violence assault, specifically impeding breath and circulation. That is, his bond is set at $40,000. But just hours ago, his attorney sent us a statement saying, quote, Patrick Beverley has no criminal record. He cares deeply about his little sister, a young lady, a minor, given that when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with an 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned, as any brother would be, about his sister. Beverley took to social media saying, quote, please don't believe everyone you see on the internet. Hope all is well.
As I said, man, this is not a small thing. This is a very, very big deal. I mean, it's involving a minor. And I get it, it's your sister. But she's a minor, right? So it's very sad, to hear about this situation. So when I look deeper into this, it basically stated that he was allegedly punching his teenage sister and also squeezing, her neck and everything. Now, as a man, I'm not judging anyone, right? And I don't like to say men is guilty, at least until he get his due trial. I'm big on that because we didn't see many men get told they are guilty before being able to have a chance to prove their innocence, right? We see this all the time. Most of the time men are guilty right off the top. We see this on the news every day. As soon as something come out, this person got locked up. Oh, he's guilty. Oh, he really did it. Oh, I already know. Oh, I've been knowing that person was like that. We see this all the time, But one thing that I will say is that this does not sound good for Patrick Beverley. It does not, In fact, it get into my skin to know whatever happened to a 15-year-old girl. That hit me tough because I'm very protective over girls and women. Very protective. So it really do get into my skin. Now, this is something that I will say. One thing that I know when it come down to Patrick Beverley, he is a very aggressive basketball player. Especially when he was in the NBA, he played very aggressively. I'm not saying that this have anything to do with what happened. I'm just saying he was one of those type of players. And something happened, right? Reasons on why he's not in the NBA anymore. He actually never got picked up after this situation I'm about to talk about. But at a Pacer game, he threw a ball in a crowd and he hit a woman with the ball. He didn't get suspended indefinitely, but he was never picked up again on, by an NBA team. After that, that was kind of it. So I just wanted to say that just to kind of give a background on Patrick Beverley. That isn't saying that he did anything here, right? I'm just saying his style of play was very aggressive. He didn't play. He would get into it with anybody. I don't care if you was LeBron James or Russell Westbrook or Rajon Rondo. You know, Paul George, James Harden, he was getting into it with everybody. If you was on the other side of the court, he was getting into it with you. If you were the opposing crowd or fan, he was getting into it with you. That's who he was. Now, with this incident, it is said that Patrick Beverly's sister, you know, she have a boyfriend. They said a little bit of this on the brief, right? But she basically have a boyfriend, and it is said that she snuck out, you know, with him. And they're saying he's 18 years old, right? So she basically got caught by, you know, her brother, Patrick Beverly. And it is said that he physically attacked her. And the boyfriend is the one who ended up calling the police, right? Now, like I said, man, none of this sound good for Beverly. And I don't know what happened. But I will say this, and I want you to see my face when I talk about this. It may sound harsh, right? But I believe any man who put his hands on a woman, especially a little girl, should get a life sentence. And they should never, ever see daylight again. Never. They should be put in the bottom of the jail. They should be put at the bottom of the jail with the rapists and the serial killers. Oh yeah, I'm not harsh with it when it come down to putting hands on a woman. I don't play that. I'll never forget when I was around 15 years old, 15, maybe 16. And I was staying with my dad at this time. And we heard a woman outside screaming loud. And we didn't know what was going on. It woke me up. I came out of my room. I saw my dad already out of the room. And we decided to go outside. And we saw this dude who I believe was her husband or boyfriend, you know, basically beating on her. And she in the middle of the street screaming. So I just immediately booked over there, you know, and pushed him back. And my dad had no choice. He had to come over now, right? So we kind of like broke it up, and the police ended up coming. But I just couldn't take this one. I just couldn't take seeing this woman get beat. I couldn't. It hit me hard. So the way that I look at it is that if a person want to put hands on a woman, beat a woman, or hit a woman in any type of way, if you want to change your life, you could change it in prison. You don't have to be out here to change your life. Change your life in prison. If you are just, for no reason, just beating on women. Really, there don't even got to be a reason to beat on a woman or hit a woman. Let alone, in this case, if he did it, your little sister. So I'm like, hey, when you go to prison, ask God for mercy. Change your life in jail so you can make it to heaven, right? But if you did something like this, you don't deserve to be out here walking free as a man ever again. You just don't deserve it. So I hope that Patrick Beverly didn't do it. You know, but what would be her reason? Look, and I don't know this family. I don't know Patrick Beverly like that. I don't know his sister or anything. But I'm looking at it, looking at the situation like, they said she had marks on her. So someone put hands on her in some type of way. I mean, unless she did it herself, but was she really going to go that far? So somebody put marks on her. And she know this is going to get her brother in a lot of trouble. So for her to go to this extent and to report this as my brother put his hands on me the way that she did, I don't know, man. Like I said, it ain't looking good for Patrick Beverly. And if he did it, bro, you need to go to prison. Straight up. And I don't wish jail on no man. But in a lot of cases, me personally, I look at it worse than murder when it come down to putting your hands on a woman. A little girl. Yeah. And I also look at it like, hey, maybe you should be in prison with other men. You know, if you want to fight, there you go. You got other men who you could fight if you really want to fight. But maybe that'll be your opportunity as well to get your life right with God. Completely turn your life over to him. Because you don't deserve to be out here if you don't know how to treat a woman. It don't make any sense to me. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or we are perfect human beings. But men, we know our physical strength when it comes down to once we touch, grab, put our hands, hit, smack, shove. Once we do that, we know we are physically going to overpower that woman or girl. Period. We know that. So if you do it, why should you be out here? That's all I'm saying, man. You know, this is his little sister. Come on, man. Hopefully he's not guilty. Hopefully he's not.